let's jump into a bit of your story. You have created a monumental success for yourself. Let's take the listeners through that.
Yeah, thank you. My journey for me, I think it started when I was really little, kind of looking around the world and going, none of this really feels like a reflection of what I know I want my life to be like. And so from a really young age, me in a little country town, we like, where the hell do I fit in? You know, my mum and dad were farmers. But inside of me, I got inspired looking at inspirational people that are writing books, making a change in the world. And I think that at the start, I had a bit of an identity crisis. Like, well, nobody is living that life around me. So I tried to fit in within high school. But the more I went away from my authentic and true self, the darker I felt inside, which really took me down a path of like addictions, mental health challenges. And it wasn't until I got into actually entrepreneurship that I started to find the light and find the courage to be myself and then start to feel happier and healthier within myself.
That's phenomenal, truly.
Yeah.
Take me through the dark stages for you.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the more you pulled away from your authentic self, you found it becoming more dark, and it wasn't until you stepped into entrepreneurship that you found the light. So what was that dark moments or maybe periods that looked like for you?
I think in my early 20s, like I was really torn between going to university and where else was my next purpose. And at that point, I was diagnosed with a mental health challenge. They put me on high doses of medication, and that dealt with the emotions, which was my soul screaming out to me, trying to help me to go in the right direction. And so when you are feeling empty and you are feeling unsure and you feel dark, you're going to the only way forward, if you're not connected to intuition and spirit, is to listen to voices outside, right?
Interesting. Like outside yourself?
Outside of yourself.
Amazing, yeah.
Because you are taught and through conditioning, this is what it means to be a successful man. This is what it means to be a successful woman. And if you don't have an example of what you know to be true inside, you may think you're actually crazy. That's what I thought. I was like, am I crazy? I didn't tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
I was walking around with a secret inside about who I knew myself to be. And I would often, but lucky enough, I did have a helper. All of the hero's journeys, the heroine's journeys, they talk about there's going to be a helper that's going to try and guide you into this unknown place for you to find yourself. And that helper for me was my dad. Out of nowhere one day, he threw me a phone book. He put a desk in the corner and he's like, you know what? Don't go to uni. Just give us a go at this property development we've got. And thankfully enough, I listened to him. He was that helper. And the more I poured my energy into this property development, genuinely led by wanting to create an incredible suburb for them, the more that light came, it sparked. I felt like I had a purpose. I felt like it was safe to be myself. I felt like I'm pretty good at this. And then the more that light ignited inside of me, and within a few short years, I'd become a Young Entrepreneur of the Year. I'd built a multi-8-figure award-winning company, and I didn't have a business degree at this point. All I had was that helper outside of me. And what really helped me build that company was feeding that inner whisper at the beginning that's like, this is the path for you. This is the path for you.
That's truly phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get disconnected with that voice and they don't know how to find it again. How did you find that voice again?
Isolation.
Interesting.
Isolation I think is so important. So many of us, we don't want to be isolated. We want to look popular, cool, all of those things. But I was thankful enough to live on a farm, so I had space.
Yeah.
And in that space, I got to be with my journal, write poetry. I had to really forgo at some point, the social belonging I had by fitting in with others, because it became so isolating and lonely. Fitting in, living true to what they told me was popular and successful. And that emptiness began to be bigger than the emptiness I felt alone. And that encouraged me to be alone at the beginning, feed my own faith, feed my own path. And when I began to feel the fulfillment that came from that, the more I felt better about maybe living a path that was different to what others around me were living. And I got to hang around people that felt true to the path I was meant to be walking.
That's really phenomenal that you're able to connect with yourself on such a deep level. People move through the world where they're unable to do that, and they'll get stuck in a place of not sure of which way to go. when you were able to step essentially into your power to identify which way you wanted to go or what you wanted to create, what did that look like for you?
The biggest thing that's coming up is helpers. I really prayed a lot throughout this time. I prayed to God. I was in a lot of pain and suffering in these darkest moments that I really prayed. I asked for a higher power. I was listening to Gabby Bernstein.
Who's phenomenal.
I really just, I want to say that I noticed the signs. I was very humble to the people that were way older than me that were opening doors for me. And because of the immense suffering I had just been through, when I saw somebody who knew something that I didn't know, or they wanted to give me an opportunity, I responded and I lent into those opportunities by 1,000%. And I think that's what, when I got given a job at the bakery at 14, I got given an opportunity to work with Australia's top builder at 19. I got given at 19 with my dad, take over the company. When somebody opened a door for me, I didn't just walk through.
You ran.
I freaking ran and I was I will be the best at this and I've got something to prove. And that really drove me in the beginning is I am not going to be the white picket fence. I didn't feel anything. So I knew that it's either evolve or die. Because I was I can't, I can't go to a normal job. I really was driven to live a life of so much freedom and fulfillment that I was I must make my way because there is no backup plan. And I've never put my life in the hands of anybody else other than myself. At 14 years old, I was in the bakery. I was working 20 hours a week. I was earning so much money. And I've always just known that it's always up to me. And I've had that mindset from a really young age because I didn't experience handouts, so I've always just believed that, in a very dysfunctional way at the beginning, but I can't rely on others. And that worked for me in the early stages until it didn't anymore. But in the early stages, that's really I've got someone to prove. I can't rely on others. I better be the one.
You talk about the dysfunction, right?
Yeah.
Is that where sometimes people can find their purpose or the grit that they need to push themselves forward instead of looking at, let's call it, whether it's trauma or dysfunction, to propel them forward instead of the stories of what happened to me?
I call it performing, pleasing, proving, perfecting. And that is when we are in our trauma identity and, that's what's really driving us. And I think the first part of my career was definitely about that. So that meant that I put my identity in things outside of me in a hope that when I achieved these milestones or became that person, I would be enough for myself and the people around me. But it was only when I reached that pinnacle of success and I was oh, I don't feel enough for me, that I realized that if you don't already feel enough inside, the only way to feel enough is to put your identity in your spiritual connection, is to see that you are already whole and enough and let that drive you. And that was a really big turning point for me.
How were you able to identify that or see it?
I think it was when I got to the peak of my success. I was 22 years old. I'd built a multi-8-figure company. I become Young Entrepreneur of the Year. And I don't think I really deeply felt that my parents were proud of me at that point. And I wasn't conscious that I was leading from that place either, but I looked at how I worked 16-hour days. I had endometriosis. I may not be able to be a mother. I hustled so hard. I didn't really have close friends and family around me. And so what showed me that I led from that place is I didn't prioritize my own self and needs and happiness and fulfillment, and I abandoned myself to get there. And I believe that's the biggest difference is you're being led by wholeness if you are prioritizing your needs, your health, you are vibrant, you have beautiful relationships, and if you don't abandon yourself along the way, a lot of the time that's a sign you're being led from wholeness and you feel the same about yourself, whether you have the car or not, the body or not, the money or not. If it all went away tomorrow, how do you feel about yourself? And if you feel peace still, then that's a big sign that your identity is anchored in something a lot more wholesome than all those external things.
How were you able to show up in your businesses to create such great success while maintaining a balance between a masculine drive and then your feminine essence?
I would say a lot of that comes back down to my relationship with my emotions. Because it's really easy to, when you feel unhappy, you know, when you feel unfulfilled and you just naturally have a relationship with yourself in inadequacy, it's like get up and fill your day and distract and avoid, you know, those feelings and emotions that are there. So I think that the biggest thing that I did is I started to prioritize my own relationship at the start of the day. And I wouldn't get into doing until I was in a state of beingness that was anchored in wholeness. And so that's like, it looks different. It can be just like pausing, connecting to myself. And I'd start and go, put my hand on my head and go, what are you thinking today? Put my hand on my heart. What are you feeling today? Put my hand on underneath my belly button and go, well, now what do we want to do today? How can we be, you know, like based on this connection with myself? And I might have just needed to cry that day, right? But crying would maybe mean that I bring a different energy into the office. It would mean that I don't punish myself by working 20 hours that day. It would mean that I don't punish my staff by being in this over masculine, like hectic energy, you know? And so just what I found is that by prioritizing my state of being at the start of the day and being anchored to my own wholeness and God's source spirit, the more then I would infuse that energy into every single thing that I did that day.
Do you think that shows up for a lot of women, that they might struggle with being able to balance the two or even be able to connect with themselves on a feminine level, let's call it?
Yeah, I think that women have been taught, like, I need to be more masculine to be taken more seriously. I need to, like, if I stop working as hard, the money's going to reduce. You know, I'm not allowed to rest. And so that's that very old paradigm, which is like the harder I work, right, the more money I'm going to make. And so I think that unless they've got a role model and an example and unless they've got a system to follow in their business, then they will be stuck in that old paradigm. And it is hard because, see, what happens when we drop that masculine hardened armor is that we are softer and we are more vulnerable and we are more emotional. And if we have had role models where that was just meant they were disrespected, they didn't speak up for themselves, right, or they weren't taken seriously, we don't want to be that woman, right? Yeah.
It's like I need to show up like a man in order to be protected or feel safe or whatever it might be, when really that's not the case. We can still be that soft, nurturing, feminine essence and still get exactly what we want, still be respected how we deserve to be respected, and channel through our business.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. And I've had OCD tendencies. I have, like, a lot of the time in my childhood, so many parts of my childhood felt very out of control. And so I remember really creating this very controlled demeanor, like especially in my younger years as a female. I was in a very male-driven industry. I became this very, like, controlled version of myself at every single moment because I felt like I need to be in control and I need to be in control of my business and I need to be in control of how I'm holding myself. And, you know, in order to feel powerful, because that part of being in your femininity is to soften and to surrender and to let life happen for you. And if so much of your life felt out of control, then the best protection mechanism is to always be the one controlling, leading, directing.
Yeah.
You know, it can feel so scary. And that's why it's so multi-layered to go through all of the things that happen, because there is a little girl inside who's like, girl, you better not. No, you're here to protect me. Like, you better not at all be that soft person. Because remember when you were the soft person and then you didn't speak up for me when I was in childhood and I was crying and you stayed quiet, and then boom, mask is formed. Here we are in businesses, like, woman always speaking up. She's like so assertive, right? She's developed that because she never felt heard from her childhood, and we've all got it. And it's just like, it's so beautiful when you look at other people and how they're holding themselves, all the different complex masks that we all hold, because it's like, wow, you are a tapestry of all these beautiful experiences that have shaped you into who you are. And it's just amazing, you know, when we look at each person from that lens.
How does your viewpoint on that reflect into your business and how you help others?
So I still have all these masks and protective mechanisms. And at the beginning of my career, I earned so much respect as one of the most put together, hardened, controlled, literally like, you know, I earned so much respect. I was on all these boards and advisories and nobody had ever met this 22-year-old who was so poised, right?
Yeah.
So it will earn you respect and it will mean that you are like the only female on a board and you will have incredible speaking opportunities and it did help me go right to the top. But, you know, the thing that it ripped me of was intimate relationships because it affected then my ability to connect with my team and empathize because I'm like, forget your feelings, just show up and do the thing.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm with a partner, I'm like, you are hopeless. You can't even lead. You can't plan. You can't, you know, I was like, I'm looking down on them. Right.
Like a tyrant.
Yep. And essentially I'm disconnected from half of myself. I was disconnected from my femininity, my feelings. So nothing felt good because I couldn't even feel pleasure. It's just do, result driven. And so now, whereas in my business, I have pretty much a completely clear schedule.
That's amazing.
White calendar.
Like amazing.
I have 1 day a month I have to be with my clients.
Yeah.
I have a 7-figure business scaling to 8 figures. I have a deep belief that I get to receive big amounts of money for very little physical effort that I must exert, like 12 to 16-hour days. I'm really supported. I have a simple, scalable business. Like I normally only have 1 employee, right? Because I have these beliefs like I get to be soft, I get to relax, I get to surrender to life. Life gets to be pleasurable, fun. And I don't have any like guilt and shame about receiving. So I receive so much money for less work. And I believe that I get to do that by giving my clients like above industry average results. And now I've created that. So now I have more abundance than ever, but I am more happier, fulfilled because it's coming from my feminine energy. And I now notice when I'm in that extra masculine energy, I actually push away clients and opportunities now.
Oh, really?
You know, like they like me now more.
Yeah.
My events convert way more when I am so in this soft, playful, authentic me because it's so unique and it's so different. And they're like, I've never seen any body sell from a stage where you're like, if this feels right, come talk to me. You know?
Yeah. If it doesn't, it's okay.
Yeah. But, you know, many people have a very overactive nervous system. So even just the ability to be in the presence of somebody who helps them feel more alive, because, you know, when you are connected to spirit, then people feel more alive and connected to themselves in your presence. Whereas when I was the CEO where I was disconnected, my staff felt disconnected.
Yeah.
Everybody around me felt disconnected.
How much does pleasure play in your life and business to get it to where it wants to be?
Oh, that's such a good question. Yeah. I would say that pleasure is the number one principle, or even selfishness, like the ability to be so intentional about the money, time, freedom you want, and then putting yourself at the center of your business, your satisfaction, your pleasure. When you do that, then that's when you build that simple, scalable business around it, and then you move it forward. But, you know, in terms of the practical strategies, I didn't used to know what my body felt like when I was having a shower or when I was eating, or I couldn't even feel my body. I had immense body dysmorphia issues, complex PTSD, so I couldn't even feel my own breath. And you can imagine when you're not connected to your body or your own breath, like you just disconnect. You feel numb all day.
Yeah.
And so pleasure now for me is, it is everything, because if I am not happy, if I'm not fulfilled, like it's not worth it. Like I 100%, my priority every day is to feel connected to myself. I don't even get into thinking about others until I am 100% connected to myself at the start of the day. Yeah.
How did you reconnect to your breath?
So doing sacred sexuality practices, at the start I was holding in my stomach a lot with when I walked around. And so the first part was allowing my stomach to be full and bloated and like in a dress, like have a bump, and like just allowing myself to like like just even notice, oh my God, I have a belly. Like, I don't know, like I wouldn't even notice I wouldn't even feel my feet. I was so out of my body. And so just this part of like everywhere as I go throughout my day, just make your belly relax, like just breathe and just allow it to be full. And then the second part was like just connecting to my food, like just taking a few deep breaths before I eat, just bringing presence into the rituals of my day. When I'm in the shower, just, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Just, you know, putting my hand on my chest, feeling the drips of the water just coming down my body and be like, I'm here for you. I'm connected to you. You know, just as many moments throughout the day, if I just saw somebody, just staying connected to my breath, my feelings, my sensations, being my own biggest best friend. Like I will never abandon how you feel in a moment. And that was, you know, really when you've abandoned yourself, I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship and you haven't been connected to yourself. And then 3 or 4 months in, you're like, where am I?
Yeah.
Or even a business, where did I go?
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with all that suppressed emotion. And I don't know about you, but I've been in situations where I had years of that. And this is what it was at the start. I had to connect to my body, I had to connect to my heart. There was years when I got to the end of that multi-8-figure company, I had 7 years of tears to freaking cry of where I'd suppress how I actually felt.
Yeah.
And when that took 3 or more years to cry out, I was like, I'll never let it get to breaking point again. So if I need to cry in a day, if I need to pause, I'm like, get that shit out of my body, because that creates depression, it creates illness, it creates endometriosis, women's health conditions. Yeah, it's intense.
Well, crying is a form of release for everybody, as well as like exercise and sweat and anything like that. So the more we suppress it, the more we end up like a tight little wound ball of stress, waiting for somebody to touch us the wrong way. Tell me a little bit more about your business.
Yeah. So today I've got the Illuminate group. It's very much about wanting to eradicate violence and abuse against women, men in the world. That's the bigger philanthropic cause. After my own journey with sexual abuse, I really do believe that like we can turn our wounds into wisdom, and that whatever we've been through, it's an opportunity for us to build an empire around it. So I do business consulting. I help men, women to actually embrace their soft feminine, mostly women. Embrace your soft feminine, create a 25K to 100K offer, build a 7-figure business, and like reclaim your time, freedom, fulfillment, and have the time for a love and family life. Like, you know, there was a Harvard study done, and this 75-year-old study said that we gain the most fulfillment through relationships. And a lot of the time as busy entrepreneurs, we don't have close relationships, and yet that's where we feel the most fulfilled. So I've got that, and then a lot of different businesses around it to help people to scale with a luxury personal brand, to be able to make it happen.
How are you able to use your trauma to transmute into creating what you have?
When you have gone into the depths of your darkness, like you turn that into wisdom, compassion, strength, and power. And so because I've overcome so many moments where I didn't think I could get through them, my self-trust is like, it's the conviction I have in myself is like, it doesn't matter what's thrown at me, I will turn it into gold within a matter of freaking seconds. And over the last year, I've just gone through an ovarian cancer scare, which was really about suppressed creativity. And you know, what I've come to learn is that God will not give you what you want, God will give you what you need. And so when you understand that, you don't take life too personal. It's like, thank you, throw it at me, you know, because every single experience is shaping me into the character, the person I need to be for what I'm going to do next. And I remember when I was like rock bottom on the ground of the shower crying, I said to God, if you take me out of this situation, I will not stop until I have helped liberate as many people around the world to come out of this situation and to find peace and fulfillment within themselves. And I've kept that promise. Like whenever spirit calls me, I answer. And when I call spirit, spirit answers. And now I'm a 7 times best-selling author. Like I have so many opportunities, and all these things come together in ways that I could never come up with my head with, you know? And so that's really what happens is you build a relationship with yourself and a higher power. And the more integrity you have with that relationship, the more doors and opportunities come. There's many, you know, laws with this. The law of value, the more value you give to the world, the more wealth you receive.
Yes.
There's so many, laws out there about it too.
like the receiving as well, the more open you are, the more you're able to receive.
Yes.
If you're a female, and please jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, any female who may have experienced like some level of trauma, especially in the area of sexual assault, we can become more closed off to receiving help or receiving anything from life or the universe, if that's the way we want to go. So we kind of get stuck in that little bubble of not wanting to receive.
Because we don't trust others. Like when I was 4 or 5, I didn't trust my parents because they didn't keep me safe and protected. I didn't trust humans because that was when my brain was literally being formed. So, we're of course going to build that. And if you look at photos of me 5 to 10 years ago, like I actually look unrecognizable. I look 10 to 15 to 20 years older than what I do right now, right? Because I have so much suppressed shame, sadness, guilt, because I was actually walking around the world wondering why did I feel the way that I did. And I was only in my 20s that I remembered that I'd been sexually abused. And if you always feel like something's off, but you don't know why, and you're walking around with this massive heaviness and you're like, why isn't others feeling this heavy?
Yeah.
It is that suppressed trauma of abuse, violence that happened to you. And you will only remember it when your brain is actually ready to reconcile it. If it hasn't happened by the time you're 35, then you may not ever remember, but you may have this unconscious trauma there.
Interesting. Why 35?
That's when the brain's fully formed. Like 95% of our identity is formed by 35. I can't remember the exact stat, but it was like 80% of people don't remember it.
Wow.
Some incredible,
Interesting.
So the way that you do remember it is through accessing the unconscious. I did timeline therapy. A lot of people remember it through doing like ayahuasca, those deep trance therapies, and then it'll come.
Your books, where did you get the idea to write them, or how did they come about for you?
Well, it's a bit of a funny story. Like I was a few years back at a Hay House Summit and I remember sitting there and I was looking at Wayne Dyer and like all these people and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so exciting. So I submitted a book proposal. I put all this time and energy into the first book. Oh my goodness, but I got rejected. And then after that I was like, well, I'm crazy. Like those ideas I had of like becoming an author, okay, I'm crazy. Like I was just thinking way too big. But then there was a point where I got really angry at God and I had 80% of my income all go away. And I was like, what the hell? Like I'm doing the work. But then I heard, Sam, you keep thinking that there's a thing called divine timing.
Oh, interesting.
And there isn't. And
interesting. I love this take.
Yeah, the divine timing doesn't exist.
Yeah.
This is about you creating a future. If you want to be an author, you choose the date and you just become an author. You want to be a speaker, choose the date, create your own stage, become a speaker. And when I heard that and then I got 80% of my income gone, I was like, I have no other choice. So I Googled, reached out, saw a person for publishing books. They would guarantee a book for you. They would help with the whole process. And then I had this download. You're meant to do 3 books in 18 months. Again, crazy. I didn't even have the money for the publisher to just take.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, there is no divine timing. I'm just going to put one foot in spirit and then trust it's all going to work out. I'm going to create my own divine timing.
Yeah.
Did that. And then 18 months later, 3 times bestselling author. And I did it all. Like it happened. And now I'm part of 7 books. This all happened.
This is amazing.
This all happened in literally 2 to 3 years. And I want to let every listener know that I promise you will be nudged and you will be guided. And you can't look to the external world for validation. Like I have never looked to the external world for validation. I didn't even have the money. I didn't even know how I was going to come up with the monthly payments of this really at that stage. But I was thrown no plan B. And, then everything's come on the other side of that. So you've got to if you are somebody who knows you're meant to write a book, like just write the book. You can write a book in a week.
100%.
Yeah.
Divine timing. So you don't think that there is a divine timing. It's if you want it, you make it happen. If you want to wait on divine timing, you'll end up waiting forever. Am I hearing that correctly?
100%.
That's interesting.
There's astrology and there's influences, right?
100%.
There's energetic influence always. But the truth is that the person who has the highest standards and holds themselves to that is always going to be the person who creates the outcome.
Oh, I love that. I
So
love that.
it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's just a cop out. Divine timing. Oh my God. Like the thing I hate is people who are a projector in human design. I need to wait for the invite. You know what? I have people.
Make the invite.
Yeah.
Make the invite.
I'm like, I have projectors who I work with who go out and they find it and they've got a 7-figure business, whilst the person who's like, I need to wait for the invite, you know, is just stuck because they're using it as a way, as a cop out.
I was going to say like a crux to be like, oh, I can't do X, Y, and Z because of, you know, A, B, and C.
Yeah. Yep. Choose your standard, choose your outcome, become the person who can create it. Yeah.
How many identity shifts did you have to go from this, one of your darkest places, to where you are right now?
Oh, an identity shift every day for the last 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah.
Every day I shift. You know,
Is that because you're trying to, every day you're creating a new version of yourself into the goals that you want, or are you continuously showing up as the version that you want to be?
I respond to spirit every day from the deepest place of integrity, because I know that the more in integrity we are with our higher self, the more fulfillment we have. And so what comes with that is just endless growth. Mm-hmm. I know the consequences that I was in a dark place because I wasn't in alignment with who I'm meant to be. And I've got too many memories of that. I almost committed suicide. I've got body dysmorphia. I've got way too many memories. So I don't even want to go a day where I'm ventured away from who my most powerful version of me is, because I know that that is so painful. So every single day I am shifting, because I know that the discomfort that comes with shifting is so much better than the discomfort that comes by abandoning your higher self over time. You may not see the initial signs of it, because first it comes as a feather and you've got anxiety, depression, you're eating a little bit more, you're drinking some more wine, but then it comes as 80% of your income gone. You know, like I'd never had a hit like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, okay. I'm like, I can't do that.
Something has to change.
Yeah.
How were you able to identify that you were self-abandoning?
Anxiety, it's a lack of peace. So when peace is a sign of integrity with self, and if you don't have peace, you are not in integrity with self.
Interesting.
So peace is a sign that you're close to God, you're close to yourself, close to spirit. If you don't have peace, if you're feeling uneasy, you're jittery, all of that, when you have internal peace, you are in alignment with your higher self,
If I'm listening and I'm not able to connect to my body, I'm disconnected from breath, but I have that anxious feeling, how do I even try and move from that place?
Just very slowly try to connect to your emotions, because your emotions are like messengers from your soul. And just begin by, if you're feeling an emotion, just learn how to name it. Put your hand on your heart, visualize a little girl or little boy there. Go get a photo of your inner child, put it somewhere on your phone and say, I don't know you really, but I really want to get to know you. And when you build that internal relationship and you realize you've got to rescue them and you've got to always keep them safe, protected, you've got to give them everything that they've ever needed, all the people that let them down, you can't be the one that lets them down. And then every day you look at that photo and you remind yourself that that girl, that boy is in you. And you just start by going, I'm feeling sadness and it's okay. And that's all you need to do. Just first name your emotions and then find a mentor who can hold space, because I didn't cry for years. When I built that multi-8-figure company, I hadn't cried for 5 to 7 years. I couldn't even cry on cue. I couldn't. And so even to name an emotion, I wouldn't have been able to cry for months and months. So find a mentor who can create that safe space for you to just learn. It will take time. It took me months and months to The other thing is I was numb. I was on medication. I was numbing through alcohol, my food. It would take a whole lifestyle change to actually shift, to resensitize yourself to.
When you were able to identify that, was it a massive shift for you in terms of how it functioned you in your everyday life and then how you functioned in your business?
Yeah, I felt very embarrassed because I didn't realize how sensitive I was.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I felt very embarrassed because I was out for lunch or dinner, and when you've had that level of suppression, you've got more tears than you know.
Yeah, you don't know what to do with them.
You're like, you're just in the mid-lunch and then you're tearing and you're like, don't look at me.
You're like, what's happening to me?
Something's wrong with me. Like, because you're just crying out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. And so I know the people around me are like, who are you? I felt a lot of shame. Like, it really requires a mentor, and you've got to put boundaries on it. because I was
Interesting, okay.
crying for so many years. So I would have to create boundaries like, Sam, you've cried. This is your time to cry for half an hour in a day, not outside of it. Now get on with your work. And I would have to really set boundaries. Otherwise, that would kind of bleed into all areas of my life and my productivity as a CEO too.
Interesting. So it's almost like when you started to feel the emotion, the emotion then tried to take over your life. So you created the boundaries and almost like time lots, if you will, to be able to express the emotion, release it, and then continue on with your everyday life.
Yeah. And this is a big thing with my productivity is like before I felt emotion, I never let emotion affect my productivity for the day. But when my emotions started to come back, I was like, no, I just got to feel it. Oh, it doesn't feel right. Yeah,
Yeah, just keep leaning into it.
But again, that was an excuse. So I had to learn how to both feel the emotion and also like be emotionally intelligent and still do the thing.
Do you believe that comes with emotional maturity for people?
Yeah.
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 And that comes through a practice of being able to feel the emotion, identify that it exists, but still live life.
Yeah, I love that Layla Hamosi quote. Have you heard it? It's like, fuck your mood, follow the plan.
100%. 100%, right? Do you find that's the biggest struggle for women?
Yes.
As opposed to men? I think men can be very closed off, but as well as women. But the moment that we start to realize that, we have emotions, I was exactly the same, suppressed for years. And in the moment I felt an emotion, I was like, oh dear God, what was that?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not that person. Like, surely not. And the more they came up, the more I was like, I don't know who this person is. Yeah. It was like this weird shift between this is who I thought I was, but now I'm having these emotions and now I don't know who I am.
Yeah. And, Brene Brown's work really helped me dare to lead. There's this quote of hers, it's like soft front, strong backbone. And I always had a very strong, cold front. But what that was really protecting was how soft and sensitive I was inside. And I'm ruthless. I'm a little lamb, but I'm ruthless, right? And so it's like the sheep and the lamb come together. Now I've got a soft front, very strong backbone. And that's where softness and strength come together. And that's what I've had to learn is like that only came through experience of like softening in situations, but equally knowing how to command my power in ways that now my softness creates respect, creates connection. Whereas I used to believe it would do the opposite, but I needed to have experiences. I needed to have teachings like Brene Brown's Dare to Lead, the courage to be vulnerable and to see and try it and notice that that actually made others feel safer. And softer women make people feel safer. Vulnerable leaders make people feel safer. They know they can make mistakes and that they can grow with you, but it doesn't mean that you're not abandoning your standards. It doesn't mean that you're not holding respect, right? They will feel safer and you're more open and they're just going to come to you more, and empathy connects people. So I had to try it out, have teachings and practice. And I got it wrong. I got it wrong a million times. Sometimes I was way too soft. Sometimes I was way too freaking hard.
Yeah.
But over time, it takes 5 to 10 years. And then in time you master it. And the more you're around other women, that are embodying it, you're like, I like how she did that,
right?
Yeah.
There's something powerful about seeing a woman who can flow between the two, being able to, like you said, have that strong backbone, but still be so soft. And it's almost, it's magnetizing. And it's like, I truly think that's what pulls people in. Like when people see someone, like she has a fantastic aura or she's so magnetic. I truly believe that's what it is, the ability to flow between the two effortlessly, it looks like. I think it's one of the best things to witness in women.
Yeah, and I think like the next generation of young women, like they need those role models because I think for me, when I look at the last generation, they were the self-sacrificing mothers
100%.
and we regained our power as being boss babes. But what we lost was our fulfillment and happiness.
100%.
And I think right now we're coming back.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like the pendulum swing.
Yeah.
We went from self-sacrificing and then we swung hard to like, we want to do everything. And now we're finding center again, which I believe with anything there needs to be an ultimate form of balance for the world to function correctly.
Yep.
How do you show up in your business that enables you to flow between the two?
Ooh, I am such a structured person. So because I'm so organized, I have such a structured day that, you know, that really gives me the freedom outside of work to be able to soften and to just not be on my phone and to connect to nature and all of that. So I have very high expectations of my team, high expectations of me. I keep my word. I pretty much represent 5 people. So I work 3 to 4 hours a day. I represent 5 people in my company. I have such a high level of output. So when I'm in my masculine, I'm in it. When I'm in my feminine, I'm in it. And I have zones in my day of like, this is feminine outside of work. Now you're at work. I dress for the day. Makeup, hair. I'm always like, I'm in my thing and I'm in that zone. And it's like I put on like I'm in a certain energy. Let's fucking go leadership energy, and I'm in my masculine. I'm like, I'm very like, you know, I'm fully in it and I'm so penetrative and I'm like, boom. But then I'm like, okay. And then I'll back to my breath. I'm grateful for this. I'm appreciative. But I used to need to like go to the sauna, have a yoga class, dance, have a shower. I used to need that. But because I've done it for so long now, it's just more of an intention thing.
Yeah, it's like this automatic switch.
It's an identity. Yeah. And, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm in this mode. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Now I'm going home. And I think that's really important when you got a relationship too.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
For you,
like,
if you're able to do it and then into your relationship.
Yeah. And I like, it's my voice that's my anchor. I'm like, okay, I'm out of work mode. And even just sighing, it's like, okay, like when I'm at work, I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, and now my voice. Just like exhaling and sighing and just bringing my voice down into my belly and like even shaking. Okay, I'm shaking my body. Yeah. Okay, hey, how was your day? You know?
You can even hear it like in your change in voice, like the tone that you project out. That's phenomenal.
And it's just like, and that was just like a sigh. And then when I'm at home, I'm like, hey, how was your day?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And I'm so peaceful. But when I can feel now, this is like my home. Like, I'm at home, you know. But when I'm at work, I'm like, like, you know, totally there, projecting it out. But I used to bring that energy home.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was
like the strong masculine energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd feel exhausted. I'd feel like I was always looking at my partner and I'm like, you're hopeless. Like, I'm like, you're never good enough for me. Like, you know, and I just expected I would always have to carry everything. Like I'd have to make the decisions. But now I'm like, I'm relaxing. Like you take care of that. And he's like, oh shit, hasn't organized this or that. Hey, well, I'm not picking, like I'm not going to handle it. You know, you better deal with it. You didn't organize it good. You better deal with it. Because I'm just in my relaxed state.
How long did it take you to be able to switch between the two?
Oh my God. Such a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was like me feeling shame of when I had men go, I've lost attraction for you.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, what? Like, I want to be an attractive woman.
Yeah.
And then the types of men, I attracted a lot of like very feminine men.
Interesting.
And then they weren't paying for dates. They wanted me to do 50-50. They wouldn't organize things for me. And I didn't feel cherished. And I was like, I've got to take responsibility of this.
Yeah, like what energy you're projecting out into the world.
And I was like, you know what? My attraction changed. And I was like, I don't want this type of man. And it was when I was like, I want to be a mom. And when I decided I want to be a mom, I was like, at the start, I believed I had to like carry the whole financial and all these things. And I was like, I sat with that. Can I actually, for the rest of my life, feel like I can never relax, receive, be supported? And I was like, I can't.
Or rely on somebody else.
Or rely on somebody else. I was like, I don't want that. And so then I decided I'm going to change. I'm going to start believing that I can receive more money by being in this other energy. And I used to change a lot. Like now with my clients, I am still in my soft feminine a lot of the time. Whereas I used to have a business that required so much of my masculinity and it was exhausting. Whereas now I've practiced just staying in that softer energy. I go into times of more of that masculine, of course. But as much as I can, I try to just now create a life where I get to stay in that softness a lot more than I ever have before. Yeah.
Tell me more about that. How do your clients, react to it as opposed to you showing up in a more feminine, nurturing aspect as opposed to a hard, not even necessarily hard, but more from a masculine point of view?
The transition was difficult because I lost clients because they were relating to me because they were in that very masculine energy. So they kind of just lost appeal, lost attraction.
Yeah.
They didn't really, they didn't like it because I'm also not in like that fight, flight, adrenal.
Yeah.
So they were like, I lost clients throughout
you have
that.
a very calming presence.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I lost clients, but what actually happened is they replaced and they're like, you know, I feel the safest with you. I can be in any emotion.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know, and they're like, I feel so calm always around you. And they're like, you know, since I've been having you as my mentor, I've softened so much and my marriage has been saved.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so there's a transition and you see them softening and you see all their hardened armor of all the pain they've been carrying, you see it dissolving. And when you see them looking happier and glowing more, you like, oh, this is cool.
It's like a inner rewarding being able to offer somebody that space for them to be able to heal or transmute or grow in a way that you are part of something.
Yep. And they're so relaxed and calm and peaceful because they don't have to fight to be seen. They don't have to prove themselves. And then things are effortless for them. You know, and that's beautiful. Like when you have a door that opens, I was at the Deepak Chopra event and within 3 minutes of being there, a woman was like, you have such beautiful energy. She said, I know you would never ask for anything, but because of that, I'm going to give your name to this person, like one of the biggest global speaking, and because you have beautiful energy. I was like, what the? I was like,
we love that.
You know, because she could feel how I was just being myself. I wasn't saying anything. I was just standing in a little corner. I didn't think I was going to meet anybody. I was doing nothing. And out of nowhere, she's like, you have such beautiful energy. And I was like, wow. You know, that day I was like saying to myself, I was like, I don't really feel like seeing anybody today.
Yeah. It's usually those days, right?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow. So I think it's just about being authentically yourself when you are genuine and you have a pure heart and you are kind. That is so rare in today's world. A lot of people dog eat dog world.
100%.
And so when you be that, you stand out, especially in terms of women out there leading. When you are soft and genuine and pure, people trust you instantly.
Yeah.
Because they're like, they're not putting on a front, they're being themselves. So you build trust in seconds and doors open.
Yeah, you can almost feel it on somebody. Their energy, whether they're closed off or they're open, it's contagious in a way.
Yeah.
Very, very, what's the right word? Magnetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel that they feel safe in themselves and you're like, I don't have to be anything for this person. Oh, thank goodness. Like,
right? Yeah, thank God.
I get to just relax.
Take off the seventh mask for the day.
Yeah, pretty
much. How were you maybe this is like a selfish question here, but how were you able to move from a place of untrusting of the world, especially when it stemmed for you from your parents and the sexual assault? How were you able to regain trust for the world?
First, it was like regaining trust inside of myself, that connection to my body. I would a lot of the time ignore when I had anxiety around somebody. I'd try to be their friend.
Interesting, yeah.
But then I began to realize, wait a second, no, trust those feelings and signs. That anxiety is actually like, notice what that feels like, because a part of your inner child is saying, they remind me of my past.
Okay, yeah.
So I had to know, when does my body feel safe versus when does it feel unsafe around people, and then trust those signs, create those boundaries, and just stay curious to that. Then when I acted upon that, I began to have internal trust, and that helped me to see when somebody was safe or not, when I trusted somebody or not. And the biggest thing for me to let go of was, you actually are not meant to trust everybody. I used to live from this place where I gave everybody my trust, and I was pretty naive, and I got taken advantage of. I wanted to be liked by everybody. I wanted to be a nice person to everybody. But now what I've realized is I have these gates, and, you know, it's like there's gate 1, gate 2, gate 3. There's a few different sets of behaviors. It's like if I see somebody displaying that, well, you get so much access to me. If I see you displaying the next, I'll let you a little bit in, but I don't give all of myself, and I definitely don't share all of myself now with somebody.
Yeah.
It's like acquaintance in a certain, like there's different
I was
levels.
going to say like little buckets.
Yeah, little buckets.
Yeah. As to who gets placed where.
Yeah.
That want to be nice or to, it's almost like a please, like let me please you.
Yeah.
Was that a protective mechanism for you or did it show up in different ways?
It was from that abuse from, childhood home where people weren't safe, but I fawned. I was like me. Who do I have to be so that you won't punch the wall?
Yeah.
And so it was just still playing out in my adult life where you're not safe. I don't trust you, but how do I like you to protect myself so that I don't get hurt or abused in this situation? And I developed through this time what I'll call walking power, which is I don't need to justify leaving. I don't need to justify walking away. And it was just the small moments of walking away from unsafe, untrusting people that developed that courage that I don't need to abandon myself because, I'm okay being alone. And that helped me to develop walking power.
Do you believe that came for you through isolation, that ability to sit with yourself or be alone, not be surrounded and have outside validation, that you were content or at peace with yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When you are okay being alone, then you are okay walking away from unhealthy situations, people. I've even turned down money, six-figure, multi-six-figure deals because I was like, in my body, this is going to come with too much, and when you build that level of trust, I care for you so much. Again, coming back to that little photo, like I got you. Every time you close a door, literally 5 to 10 times the amount of money came over the next 6 to 12 months because it was a test. I had to believe that more money didn't come with more self-abuse, more other types of abuse. I didn't have to abandon or betray myself for love, for connection, for money. You don't have to. And then the more that you prioritize yourself, the more money, opportunities, good people come into your life. But you got to lead believing that. And the way that you start doing that is you put yourself first and you don't believe you're selfish for doing so.
It's actually really powerful. Yeah. I think, personal experience, I struggled with putting myself first for years. I think, or I truly believe, it's a place that a lot of women struggle with, especially around our age when we were brought up with the self-sacrificing. We were modeled this is what you do, or this is what women need to do in order to be loved or accepted or end up where we want to be, when that's not the case. And case in point for yourself, and then for me, we spent years trying to reverse the self-sacrificing behavior to get ourselves to where we actually want to be.
Yeah, and our moms or those women, they didn't have financial freedom to be able to leave these situations.
Correct.
And I think that's why we see this massive boss babe movement.
100%.
It's like I got financial resources, like I get to be free, I get to, but it also comes with its downsides, like I don't need a man and all of that.
Yeah, I think the boss babe movement, 100%, we took it way too far in the extreme with the pendulum.
Yeah.
With the I don't need a man, I don't need anyone, I can do this on myself.
Yes.
And I think all it led to was a generation of women who are burnt out, tired, and resentful in a way of I don't want to do it anymore. And so now the pendulum's coming back and we're like, okay, how do we have both?
Yeah.
How do we have the relationship of our dreams while still being, providing for ourselves or being in a place that's authentic to us, while simultaneously being able to give to those around us.
That's it. Yeah. And, to have other women that will call us out and be like, you need to leave this relationship.
Yes.
You need to stop, undervaluing yourself in your business. You can charge 5 to 10 times more. You need to put your name forward into 5 to 10 times the amount of opportunities. Like when you have those people around you that lift you up, that see through your mask, that call you out on your BS. I think that's also a really big journey for women when we are in that
100%.
boss babe, because if our own femininity doesn't feel safe, then other women don't feel safe. And we push away other women as well. And we probably have mostly men around us. And that's isolating because women friendships can give us something that men friendships can never give us. Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
It's something I experienced myself. Even actually, I went through a period where I pushed away anybody, that same thing, that deep level of distrust for the world and those around me.
Yeah.
But there's something that you get from feminine women, from any women who can provide you with something that you don't get from men. And it's when you reach a place, I went through life thinking that my main source of friendship came from men because I could relate to them better. We want the same things, right? And then there was this moment where it changed. And I was like, what have I been doing my entire life? Like female friendships are tenfold to what a male friendship will ever be. Yeah. And it's one of the, I'll say this, if you are in this place, it'll be one of the most profound things you can do for yourself is if you find as many female friendships that feel authentic and you can connect on that nurturing level than trying to find it in a man.
Yes. Because men can sometimes come and go, especially if we're in younger years, whereas those females, they are always there. And you feel so much more secure in yourself knowing that that belonging that you have with them, it's rock solid.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of the most profound things to witness, I think.
Yeah, it really is.
Your journey, because you are quite young, and you crammed so much into such a short period. Yeah. What does it look like for you moving forward?
Well, my astrology says I'm going to peak at like 50. So
what star sign are you?
I'm Cancer.
Okay, amazing.
But, that's what my astrology says, which I think is really funny. I think that my 20s were all about trying a million things to discover who I really am. And I feel like I'm only just now seeing what my biggest contribution is to the world. And that is really my softness, my pure heart, like my generosity. Like I really do want to be an example of a different type of female leader in the world. I have a vision to, scale to multi-9 figures, but do it in a way that no other woman has done before.
That's phenomenal.
That is my vision. Because when I look at the women at the top at multi-9 figures, I observe them as quite masculine. They're very masculine.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
And so I want to do it like where I'm the mom with a child on my shoulder, like, I'm, there on stage. I may even be a single mom. Like right now I'm not in like a long-term relationship and like I may even do it alone, like be a mom and do it alone. Like,
good for you.
But I may find a man, but like I really want to involve my kids in my business journey and bring together motherhood and building this multi-9-figure empire in a way that has never been done before. I love that people are talking about unicorn companies, billion-dollar companies with just 2 to 3 employees, mostly with AI.
100%. That's going to be epic when it happens,
I'm
right?
excited about this. That's what the future is, create 1 billion impacts in the world. I want to help 1,000 women, female brands to be in places like UN, government, on stages around the world. I believe we need to bring femininity into every level of humanity, schooling system, health system, government system. We need to help people to reconnect back to their hearts, because when our hearts are disconnected, we are disconnected from Mother Earth. And we are less than 10 years away from irreversible damage to the planet. And if we're disconnected from our hearts, we don't care. We just go to a different planet, right?
Yeah, we're done here.
Oh, well, done here. Goodbye. We don't have self-responsibility. And I think it's the mothers. When we reconnect to that mothering, that nurturing aspect of ourselves, we're going to ask, how do we protect our damn planet? How do we protect our next generation? We're going to be more responsible with our choices, how we can build companies that contribute back to causes that keep our next generation safe and protected. It's going to be the women that do it, because we don't just think about money. We think about other things as well. So I want to be the example, the trailblazer. I've hung out with Deepak Chopra, Richard Branson. I'm trying to really connect to the people that are at the forefront of change, that are way smarter than me, that can help me to be able to make this happen like within my lifetime. And I'm also trying to find women that think this big, who can help to create this 1 billion impacts.
I love that, actually, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think the future is, and however it sounds to whoever's listening, but future is 100% female. And I truly believe that women who lead are far better than men who lead, because we can do that interchangeable. Unless the man is deeply connected with both sides, where he does the same thing, can flow between the two, I truly believe it's women. We just have this essence about us.
And I love the men that are rising, and I believe that men have these really beautiful, unique attributes that they do, and I couldn't be the woman I am without the men in my life. 100%. I really want to make that, like, my dad has opened so many doors. He has been 100% a believer in me, and I would not have the conviction I have without him. And men have been there, like women have hurt me a lot. Through my rising, jealousy, tearing me down, all of it. So I do believe this is about men and women rising together in our own power, but like the Dalai Lama said, he said, what did he say? Like the future is female. It's the Western women that will save the world.
Like it's,
so I you know,
it
so
is.
we need to have the balance. Yeah.
Like even if you look at a relationship dynamic, and if it's the man who is the provider and he goes and grows the companies and anything like that, it's still the female who is, I like to say, like she's the neck. So she's like, she's the one who's pushing him further than he thinks he can go. She's encouraging him when he gets her doubts in it. She sees the vision much bigger than he could. She directs, propels, and pushes in like a way that makes him want to do it, as opposed to in a way that might tear him down or keep him stagnant in a place.
Yeah.
It's always women. Always women.
I love that we got this video in your face when you said this. Was so good.
Like it, I truly believe, and I think, and it's, I've always wondered myself, and I'm like, I truly believe that the future is female. Whether it's like, oh, is it just like an egoic thing where I think it is because I am a female, or that's how I want it to be, or is it that's the shift that's happening in the world? We're elevating to a level that we're asking men to rise up to. And I think each time we rise, we ask them to step up. And it's the most powerful thing that could happen in the world.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and they are like, they're either going to struggle or they're going to step up and rise. And I'm seeing so many men rise. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Amazing. Where can we find you on your social media platforms?
Yeah, so head over to my Instagram, i.m.samantha.j. You can DM me for a free copy of all my books.
Beautiful.
And yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure and the best conversation. So thank you so much, Samantha.
So good. Thank you.